Raymond Williams's Contact, Human Communication and Its History, explores the evolution of communication from its earliest forms to modern mass media, tracing how humans have historically created, shaped, and shared meaning. Williams, a renowned cultural theorist and critic, was deeply interested in the ways communication affects social structures, power dynamics, and cultural development. His work is particularly insightful for examining how communication extends beyond mere transmission of information to encompass the formation of relationships, communities, and collective identities. In Contact, Williams argues that communication is fundamental to human existence, suggesting that our capacity to communicate enables not only survival, but the development of shared values, norms, and traditions. He begins by examining the origins of communication, focusing on early human societies, where oral traditions played a crucial role in preserving history, culture, and knowledge. Williams posits that these early forms of communication were primarily about survival, with information passed down generations to ensure community cohesion and continuity. Storytelling, song, and rituals served as vehicles of communication, allowing groups to navigate their environment, maintain social bonds, and foster a sense of belonging. The transition from oral to written culture marks a significant shift in Williams's narrative. He describes how the invention of writing systems allowed for the preservation of knowledge beyond the limitations of memory, giving rise to a more stable and enduring cultural heritage. Writing enabled complex societies to record laws, historical events, and religious texts, which in turn contributed to the development of organized institutions and centralized authority. Williams highlights the double-edged nature of this development. While writing allowed for the expansion of human knowledge and cultural continuity, it also led to the control of information by a select few, creating hierarchies based on literacy and access to written knowledge. The act of writing, once limited to elites, thus became a tool of power, reinforcing class divisions and social inequalities. With the advent of the printing press, Williams contends, communication underwent another revolutionary change. The mass production of texts democratized access to information, breaking down some of the barriers established by written culture. Printed material became accessible to a broader audience, leading to an increase in literacy rates and enabling individuals from various social backgrounds to engage with new ideas. Williams explores how the spread of print media facilitated the development of public opinion, political discourse, and social movements, as individuals were able to share ideas, debate issues, and advocate for change on an unprecedented scale. The printed word, Williams suggests, played a pivotal role in the rise of the Enlightenment, the spread of democratic ideals, and the proliferation of scientific knowledge, all of which challenged established authorities and led to profound social transformations. However, Williams is cautious about romanticizing the impact of print, acknowledging the ways in which it, too, was co-opted by those in power. As newspapers, pamphlets, and books became primary sources of information, they were often manipulated to serve particular agendas. Williams emphasizes that while the printing press opened new avenues for public discourse, it also led to the commodification of information, with publishers and governments sometimes prioritizing profit or propaganda over truth. He suggests that even as print media facilitated individual expression and collective action, it also reflected and reinforced existing power structures. The industrial era brought new challenges and possibilities for communication. Williams discusses the emergence of telegraphy, photography, radio, and cinema as technologies that not only expanded the reach of communication, but also altered its nature. The telegraph, for example, revolutionized long-distance communication by enabling almost instantaneous transmission of information, which transformed commerce, journalism, and even warfare. Photography introduced a new form of visual communication that could document reality in ways that text could not, while cinema offered a medium that combined visual storytelling with mass appeal. Williams examines how these technologies contributed to a shared visual and auditory culture, one that transcended geographic and linguistic boundaries. Williams is particularly interested in the development of broadcast media, especially radio and television, which he views as shaping modern society's understanding of reality. He argues that these media, by reaching vast audiences simultaneously, created a sense of immediacy and collective experience. Radio, for instance, brought news, entertainment, and political speeches directly into people's homes, fostering a shared national identity, while also promoting ideological conformity. Television further intensified this effect by adding a visual dimension, which made it a powerful tool for persuasion. Williams explores the ways in which television, with its ability to shape public opinion and influence social behavior, became both a reflection and an instrument of cultural values, shaping everything from consumer habits to political attitudes. Despite his recognition of the transformative potential of these media, Williams remains critical of their implications for communication and culture. He points out that mass media often homogenizes content, reducing the diversity of voices and perspectives in favor of commercially viable or politically sanctioned narratives. The centralization of media ownership, he argues, allows a handful of corporations to control what information reaches the public, limiting democratic discourse and reinforcing existing power dynamics. Williams cautions against the passive consumption of media, advocating instead for active engagement and critical analysis as means of preserving individual agency in an increasingly mediated world. In his final analysis, Williams reflects on the emergence of digital communication and the Internet, which he sees as both a continuation and a departure from previous media forms. Digital technology, with its potential for interactivity and decentralization, offers possibilities for communication that challenge traditional power structures. Williams is cautiously optimistic about the Internet's potential to foster new forms of community and participation, enabling individuals to connect, share, and create on a global scale. However, he also warns of the dangers of surveillance, data commodification, and the erosion of privacy in digital spaces, suggesting that these new forms of communication require careful regulation and ethical consideration. Throughout Contact, Williams underscores the complex relationship between communication and power. He argues that while new forms of communication have historically expanded human knowledge and fostered social change, they have also been subject to manipulation and control. Williams's work serves as both the history of communication and a critique of its role in shaping society, encouraging readers to consider the ethical implications of their engagement with media. He emphasizes that communication is never neutral. It is always shaped by the interests, values, and biases of those who control it. In this way, Contact is not only a historical study, but also a call to action, urging individuals to become active participants in the communication process, rather than passive consumers of information.